Well, I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, and this is part 3 of my Bob Dylan Bootleg Series review and ranking. So I'm going in order that they were released. I'm going to talk about each one, and then I'm going to rank them within the scope of each one. So we're on, even though this is part 3, we are on volume 5, mainly because the first release was volumes 1, 2, 3, and they've yet to be released separately. Probably never will. And man, if you want to run an archival bootleg release series, this is how you do it, people. 1 through 3, culling just a whole bunch of stuff from like the vault, if such a Dylan thing exists. Just so many awesome unreleased tracks going back to his early just acoustic only days, all the way up through at the time, I think it was early 90s when the release came out. Just some ridiculously great stuff. Second release was sort of the iconic, classic, historical Judas concert from 1966. And now we jump ahead to the Rolling Thunder Revue from 1975. The absolutely awesome tour that he went on just prior to the release of Desire. This sort of rather huge band, right, that kind of just brought this really sort of kind of slightly country-ish vibe. You kind of had a sort of this weird sort of hangover from the early country days, but at the same time it was a lot more livelier and just a lot more eclectic, almost like an Americana. The tour was like a review, I think a lot of people sang, or I think there were a lot of opening acts. There was a lot of people on stage. But it's this release. There's you can't. I should take the glass out of the glass. This is your Rolling Thunder cover to your CD, 2 CD release. Band is huge. You get Dylan, there. Bobby Newirth on guitar, Scarlett Rivera on violin. The violin edition is so sweet. T-Bone Burnett on guitar, Steven Souls on guitar, Joan Baez on guitar and vocals, Roger McGuinn on guitar and vocals, Mick Ronson, Dave Mansfield playing some awesome steel guitar, mandolin, adding so much beautiful texture to these songs, Rob Stoner on bass, Howie Wyeth on piano and drums, Luther Ricks on drums and percussion, and then Ronnie Blakely also on vocals. Just this really big band providing this really just, I don't know, man, eclectically Americana, country-ish, a little folky, but very, very just, I don't know, fun sound. 2 discs. The sequencing of the songs, it's not a complete show. They've pulled tracks from various shows ranging over the course of what looks like a couple weeks, November and December of 1975. But the sequencing of them is pretty much how the set would have gone if you had seen them. Like this possibly could have been a set, maybe a little longer than your normal show as the entire thing runs. I guess it's only 2 50-minute discs, so it's not really that long. Yeah, so it could have been a complete show. But the set list is fantastic. The songs sound fantastic. Dylan's performances sound fantastic. You get Dylan doing that thing where he kind of changes the words to some songs, even though he might not dramatically rearrange sort of how they sound. Lyrics have been changed here and there, which, a pronoun is different, just slight phrases that he's trying to like still tinkering with. So that's fun always to hear these new versions of these things. But really, it's the set list coupled with the performances that ultimately make this just such an incredible listen. Opens up with Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You, which just the sound of the band, this arrangement is so incredible, better than the original studio version, just an absolute hit it out of the ballpark opener. It Ain't Me Babe, which doesn't sound like It Ain't Me Babe until he starts singing, and then you're just like, oh, this is It Ain't Me Babe. Sounds fantastic. A Hard Rains Are Gonna Fall. Again, another early song that he's taken. He's sort of given it this new life, this new sort of energy, kind of like it could have been released in 75 and it would still have been a fantastic song. He sort of reinvented it. The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll, one of my all-time favorite songs. Another really just energetic performance with a full band. Not as good as the performance on the bootleg series or on the later release. Every video I've made, I'm filming these on my iPad, has been supported by this box so the iPad doesn't fall over. The version of the Hattie Carroll on there's a release that just has like the best of. The best of version of Hattie Carroll on this release is one of the best things ever, but it's still a good version on here. Romance in Durango, bunch of Desire tunes on here, which hadn't been released, but they have so much more life on these. Romance in Durango and Isis in particular just sound so much more powerful in these live versions than I think they do on the studio version. You get a Romance in Durango, you get an Isis, then we get more of a like a oldies type run where he's kind of playing some acoustic songs. Get Mr. Tambourine Man, Simple Twist of Fate, which is absolutely amazing, Blowing in the Wind, Mama You Been on My Mind, and then a CD side one, CD one closing, I Shall Be Released. Joan Baez sits in and sings on a couple of these songs. I think as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate Joan Baez a little more. Dylan obviously loves her voice, loves what she contributes. I've come to sort of appreciate the energy she brings. But just like a perfect disc, perfectly sequenced, the way it goes from that just awesome opening Tonight I'll Be Staying With You to what the closing I Shall Be Released, which is a perfect closer. And even though this is only like the first half of the show, the disc feels like a complete journey of songs. Phenomenal release. Disc 2 might be better. No, I don't think it's better. I think disc 1 might be better, though. Disc 2 has some pretty heavy hitters. Opens up with It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. A gorgeous Love Minus Zero, No Limit that just sounds absolutely amazing. We get a Tangled Up in Blue, which is a pretty straightforward Tangled Up in Blue. Some changed lyrics here and there. We get a cover of a traditional song called The Water Is Wide. It Takes a Lot to Laugh, Train to Cry. Really nice Oh Sister. Again, the stuff that is from Desire, I think just is given a little more room to breathe or given a little more energy. And whichever it is, I think it makes those songs sound better. Hurricane, which has two of my favorite readings of a Dylan line on here. He is performing the heck out of this. He even introduces it like, hey, this is the true story of a boxer. Let's get him out of there. You know, he's explaining what it's about. But man, where are the lyrics to Hurricane? They're not online because apparently a bunch of other people have songs named Hurricane. But there are two lines that I absolutely love when he's talking about getting him for third-degree murder, and he says something like, we want to get this guy for third-degree murder. The way he says murder is just like, murder, Jim. Get this guy for third-degree murder, Jim. We want to put his ass in stir. We want to pin this triple murder on him. The way he says murder gets me every time. And then the next verse, they're talking about people who are sort of like privileged people. And there's a line about watching the sunset or something like that. And it is said with so much contempt and just so much, I think it's up to some paradise where the trout streams flow in the air. No, that's not the line. But there is a reading of a line on here that is just so filled with so much contempt. It is just, some of the readings of these lines are absolutely fantastic. Gosh, I wish I could find what line that was, but now I can't remember what it was. Oh, now all the criminals in their coats and their ties are free to drink martinis and watch the sunrise. The way he says, watch the sunrise, such an incredible reading of this song. Hurricane, we get One More Cup of Coffee, another song, which seems to even burn a little bit slower and a little bit better and just be a little more, perfect. Then we get a Sarah, another beautiful Just Like a Woman, and then a really nice reading of Knocking on Heaven's Door to Close. Not one of my favorite songs. I really thought that perfect little 2.5 minute version is like the best version, but this is not a bad version of that. But absolutely perfect 2 discs. I mean, just absolutely amazing release. If there's anything to complain about, it's not a complete show. It'd be nice to just have sort of the energy of a complete show. A couple of the songs, I do think there's fade outs at the end of it. So you get that sort of, it's fading out at the end of a song. So you don't get that necessarily complete feel of a show. But I can't complain. Like, it is just, the performances are amazing. The band sounds amazing. Dylan sounds like he's having a really good time performing these songs. His reading on Hurricane is fantastic. His sort of reinvention of Isis and things like Romance and Durango just have a little more spite to them. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal release. Question is, where am I going to rank it? Originally, I had 1 through 3 at number 1. And then number 4 came out, which was that 66 show. That was at number 2. Where am I going to put this one? Volume 5. I'm going to put it right. That's right, people. I like this better than that bootleg show, that Manchester show, that Judas show. Disc 1 on that Judas show is a perfect disc. There's a couple absolutely perfect songs on disc 2. But overall, you get blood on the tracks, you get some Desire, you get some oldies, you get some early acoustic stuff, you get Joan Baez, and you get a band that, while definitely not as I don't know how you describe the Hawks on that 66 release. They're just like so of the moment and so vital, and they're bringing so much electricity and energy to Dylan. Like, that is an amazing release. But if I go by which ones I listen to more and which one like I'm more likely to put on any given day, it is this one. This is the one. Also comes with a fantastic book with a whole bunch of big, really nice long essay in here. You know, all the things you want from a Dylan book. It's a stupid, fantastic release. And I would rank it as so far my favorite bootleg series release. In no way trying to demean or diminish or put down that volume 4. I recognize its awesomeness. But if you want to know what I listen to more, I listen to this more. I think it's just a little more fun. It's a little more lively. It's got a little more diversity. The acoustic things are mixed in on the same CDs with the electric, so you get a little bit of both on each CD. So I appreciate that. But yeah, fantastic release. But yeah, right now, that's my all-time favorite bootleg series release out of the top 3. Loud Truck Going By. Volume 5. The Rolling 1975, The Rolling Thunder Revue. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It is ridiculous. Let me know what you think. Let me know why I'm wrong. I did Google some list of how people have ranked this, and I saw this release ranked as number 1 on somebody's list, and I saw it ranked at the very bottom, the last one of somebody's list. I also saw it somewhere in the middle. So the world is all over the place on Dylan. And yeah, that's okay. I'm cool with that. For me, this is my number 1 release. But anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Leave comments, share, subscribe, like. You know how all this works. And most importantly, go listen to music. Go listen to some Bob Dylan, people. There's a lot out there to listen to, and this bootleg series is phenomenal. Thanks for watching. Peace. Talk to you later.